Hello, everybody, and welcome to the wrap up. This is the official Raptors Republic live post game show with me, Sahal Abdi, and my co host, Oren Weisfeld. It's good to have you guys back. Fortunately, coming off another loss. Toronto Raptors lost tonight's game 118 to 104 to the Detroit Pistons. Oren, we have officially been swept by the lowly Detroit Pistons, coached by none other than Dwayne Casey. Every time, I guess, this season, Oren, for me, that I've told myself this is the toughest Raptors game to watch, the Raptors outdo themselves. And unfortunately, we are now at a moment where I'm not necessarily part of the, tankathon that everyone's joining on and the little tank bandwagon, whatever you want to call it. But I think Toronto
depression for a decent
reached
pick.
the point where, Malachi Flynn, 25 minutes, bring it on down. Oren, what did you think about tonight's game? It was just an absolute shit show, to put it nicely.
Yeah, I mean, there would be no real point in even spending too much time on the game because it was one of those instances where they just came out flat without effort and didn't really play hard. Like if the Raptors have been doing this all season where they just play up to their opponents or down to their opponents, like if they gave the effort they gave against Phoenix or Portland today, they would have won.
Yeah.
Even though Detroit was shooting the ball really well, the Raptors were scoring when they really hunkered down. So I think they would have won if they were focused and had the effort. But yeah, it was just no effort. Everyone looks angry to be there. The vibes are terrible. Like everyone's angry at each other. There's no, we'll talk about a few things, but there is no real way to look at this season other than to kind of inch your way towards the fade for Cade or depression for a decent pick is I'm patenting that one. So yeah, it is what it is.
Goran, it was the second game of a back-to-back. And unfortunately for Toronto, these back-to-backs probably hurt them this season more than any other season before. And that goes for really any team that's been affected by the COVID-19 virus. It's almost become a routine to see Toronto look completely and utterly lethargic on the second games of back-to-backs. And normally you would say, well, Sahal, that's pretty normal. Second game of back-to-back, doesn't matter what season it is, you're going to have less energy than usual. But this is another level, Oren, of lethargic. This is barely basketball, honestly, what we're watching. We're watching very, very low-quality basketball by a team that consistently finds a way to lose badly to opponents at the bottom of the conference standings. Like I said, they were swept by the Detroit Pistons at, it's been 3 games in the last month or so where Detroit Pistons have honestly destroyed them. They've destroyed them more, and I'm not going to, mince words. The Detroit Pistons have had their way with Toronto. Last year, Toronto swept the Detroit Pistons. Year before that, in the championship year, Detroit swept Toronto. So it's kind of like a back and forth with these two teams at this point. It's been bad. At this point, I really just want to forget the season, but here we are. I guess what made the championship season and all those great seasons, 4 or 5 years ago, or even really just before the championship season, even last year, I think was a pretty good season. What made those seasons so great was the fact that Toronto fans as a whole knew what it felt like to suffer as fans in those mid-2000s, late 2000s. They've been through it. Toronto fans have been through it. So, I mean, they really appreciated those playoff years. And just as those playoff years went by, Oren, the expectations grew, first round out, second round out, Eastern Conference, you get a taste of the Eastern Conference championship, and then you win it all. You win the trophy. And now we're back at ground zero, Oren. We're back at ground zero. It's really hard to swallow a loss like this. The bench points discrepancy was ugly, Oren. Like I've said it before time and time again that this team, they lack bench scoring, and I mentioned effort, in the last episode. Or I don't know about you, this isn't really effort anymore. This is, I feel like these guys they want to win, but there's a lack of focus. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I tweeted, all the reasons that I think Toronto's going through it this season. It was literally like a laundry list. Oren, I don't know. Do you have anything to add to this game?
Yeah, in terms of like the effort on the second night of back-to-backs, I think they're like 1-8 now on the season, which is just gross. And it's like, it is what it is, like the core players are playing such heavy minutes that, you come into a game like this and it's pretty easy to know how they're going to win or how they're going to lose. Like if Pascal and Fred and those guys bring it, then okay, you have a good chance. But if even a couple of those guys are off, the bench isn't winning you any nights. Like it's not an exaggeration to say that the bench, maybe one game Boucher has won them, but maybe that's like it. Most games this season, they've had a chance for the bench to kind of like win them one, especially on back-to-backs. That's when you rely on your bench to, you grow the rotation a little bit and you give your bench more opportunity to score and to kind of get you back in games. And they haven't been able to do that at all this season. And it wasn't even close. If you look at the bench points, the Pistons destroyed them.
Yeah.
Whether it was Joseph or Diallo or Isaiah Stewart on the boards, like it was the Toronto bench. We've talked about this too many times. They're bad. And on back-to-backs, it's really always highlighted that they just don't have a good bench. But honestly, like, I texted you, I'm going to try to take a positive approach to the rest of the season because it's getting pretty clear that the Raptors are not, they're not making any push. They could still get in a play-in game for sure, but it looks more likely that they're going to be headed for the lottery than that. So I think, trying to stay on a positive note here. This game was obviously a wash, but we'll try to highlight the things that will matter in the years to come more than like harping on the mistakes, because just for the point of harping on the mistakes, because that'll at least give us some room for optimism.
Yeah, that as well. Rebounding, there wasn't. It honestly didn't. It felt like the rebounding was a major issue today, but fortunately enough for Toronto, as sad as this sounds, fortunately enough, they were only a -8 on the rebounds. A lot of that just had to do with them missing shots. They couldn't find good shots. First chunk of the game seemed like it was Fred VanVleet versus the entire Detroit Pistons team. Pascal Siakam didn't play all that well. Kyle Lowry was an uncharacteristic -23. He was let out the game pretty early, and understandably so. I was begging Nick Nurse to really play, Watanabe and all those guys, because you might as well, Oren. You really might as well. Yeah, like there's no point of keeping Lowry and Fred and all those guys out there when you're watching a product like this, whether it's as a coach or as a fan, whatever you want to call yourself. There's really no point.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you can go ahead. You can
well, we talked about last game how it's just they haven't been able to get on a roll where everyone's kind of playing well, and like Lowry often will take at least a game to get back, and he's like a field player, so when he has to sit, it often takes him a game to find his shot, and so he really was not good tonight on either end, and then like Siakam wasn't either, and like that's it. Like even if the rest of your players are good, the margin for error is so small that if Siakam and Kyle don't have it, you're probably not going to win. On a positive note, Gary Trent had his best game of the Raptors.
Yeah.
First play of the game, he got a steal, and that led to some fast break opportunity. He went 3 from 7 from downtown, 15 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. So I was happy with him on the bright side.
Yeah, I was waiting for that, and I spoke about it, Oren. I was waiting for this game for Gary Trent Jr. I spoke about how he's young, and we have to expect him to be up and down. As good as he was in Portland, that's also, the intel that I was getting from Portland writers and Portland fans, at least on Twitter, that, he's a 22-year-old. This isn't, I don't know, a lot of people look at Gary Trent and I don't know if they naturally assume he's like a 26, 25-year-old because he's been in the league for a few years. I don't know what it is, but, Gary Trent Jr. is a 22-year-old guy, came in the league super young, still very young, up and down, just like Norman Powell was. And probably you won't see that type of consistency from him for quite a while. You just won't. I always felt like this team, talent-wise, is a playoff team. As crazy as that sounds, I still say that talent-wise, this team's a playoff team.
Yeah.
It's the holes. The holes are absolutely massive for this team, and then obviously the surrounding circumstances. I outlined some of them here. Let me get rid of this banner so you guys can see the entire thing. No home crowd, no home city, no family, shortened off season. Aaron Baines, wildly undersized team, irrationally compact season. Aaron Baines, dude's coming off COVID, expect to handle, the majority of the offensive load in Aaron Baines. So for me,
Aaron Baines is ruining my life. I told my roommate that today. I said, this guy is ruining my life.
For me, guys, this is what I think. If you're wondering how are my Raptors this bad, this is probably, and there's a lot more too. It's I pick on Aaron Baines sometimes, for fun. He is struggling this season, but so is almost every other Raptor. But there is other reasons. There's Terrence Davis. I was hoping that he would come into this season and even with his off the court issues, he would come in and be a force off the bench. He's a second team All Rookie last year. He did absolutely nothing in terms of advancing Toronto to that next level. The bench, Paul Watson, I expected to take a step up. He's whatever. Bunch of guys. It's not just Aaron Baines. That was kind of the joke of the tweet, but
also some of draft Twitter. I saw the conversation on draft Twitter that some people were not happy at the time with the Flynn pick, and I feel like we need to start a dialogue soon about Flynn because that's true. Trent is younger than Flynn, and obviously it's different because he's had years to develop in the NBA. Flynn has very much just been thrown into the fire after months off of college ball getting canceled because of COVID. So it's very different. But he has some very interesting qualities, but in his NBA time so far, the athleticism and the size just seems to really bother him. And really all he's doing, defensively, I have no complaints. But there's also only so much utility to a 6-foot guy. He can defend the point of attack very well, but other than that, he can't defend wings, and his on-ball defense is only going to be so good if you're that small, or off-ball defense, I should say.
Yeah.
On offense, Flynn is doing absolutely nothing for this team.
Yeah.
He, passes the ball around the 3-point line. Occasionally, they'll screen for him, and then maybe he'll pull into his mid-range Jimmy, but that's not the shot we want a rookie taking. Is a mid-range elbow jumper. He hasn't been able to make plays in the pick and roll at all. His burst is not impressive. His finishing at the rim is not impressive. So while I like his ability theoretically to create space and kind of find a mid-range shot, that's nice at the end of the game and everything, but that's not a healthy diet in the NBA. So I have to admit, I'm a little bit worried about Flynn, especially when you look at some of the guys drafted after him, like a Desmond Bane, who would have helped this team immensely.
I wanted Desmond Bane so bad, man.
I think Desmond Bane was leading the league in 3-point percentage at one point this season as a rookie. So, I mean, you hope that Flynn matures and develops. The point guard is the hardest position to learn in the league, they say. But I do have to admit, as high as I was on him, that the early returns in the NBA and even in the G League, where he didn't absolutely kill everyone, is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, no, it is. It definitely is. But also, we got to take that with a grain of salt, Oren, because
no one's
Fred
having
and
fun.
all these guys, Yeah, no one's having fun. And then on top of that, Fred and all these guys weren't, all that in their rookie seasons either. So we have to be fair in terms of player, development, letting him develop. What we saw in the G League was very, very encouraging for Malachi Flynn. It was extremely encouraging. But again, it's like the circumstances are insane for this team. It feels like all odds are against them. And by the way, that list that I showed in that tweet, a lot of those, things that were listed were things that, NBA fans in general, all NBA teams can really relate to in terms of shortened off season and things like that. But Toronto has a little bit more on their plate, where it's, obviously with them playing in the States and Florida, Tampa, Florida, rather than Canada. So it's just everything's different. I mean, their practice court, Orin, is a ballroom in a hotel. It's literally a converted ballroom in a hotel. It just looks so awkward. I don't know if you guys have seen, the Toronto Raptors Instagram or, just their social media in general when they post practice pics. It is awful. I mean, it is awful to walk into a court and just, it resemble a ballroom rather than a practice arena. And there's so many more things.
Yeah. But, I mean, I have to be honest, like this question from James here, I'm really believing more and more that this front office is pseudo tanking. And that might be giving them too much of the benefit of the doubt here.
Mm-hmm.
But to not get a center at the trade deadline when they could have, there were cheap centers available. We know that. JaVale McGee. So especially after trading away Matt Thomas and Terrence Davis, you could have gotten a center back for that instead of picks. And I assumed at the time, okay, Masai definitely has a buyout guy kind of committed here, low key. And then we learned that there was no buyout guy coming. So the fact that they didn't upgrade at center really pushes me to believe that they secretly believe this is a strong draft at the top or something, and that this season is kind of done for. And like, I'm definitely more and more starting to believe that, and that's kind of helping me get through these losses, because this is intentional. Or, I mean, if this is not intentional and they're shocked at how bad this team is, and they're truly trying to win every night, I don't think that's the case. But if it were, that would be worst case scenario.
Yeah, no, that's like the easy way, I think, out for most of us to just think like maybe this team, I hate using the word tank, because to say a professional team, other than, of course, your historical anomalies like the Philadelphia 76ers, who are running out Tony Roten for 45 minutes a game.
Or OKC, which I think is crazy that Horford is just going to sit this season. I don't think that should be allowed, but whatever.
I saw a funny tweet by Eric Corrine where someone said, obviously with Raptors Twitter, you see the word tank all over your Twitter timeline at this point now. And Eric Corrine, I believe, I forgot who he replied to, but someone said, at this point, just buy out Kyle Lowry. Just buy him out completely and just let him set sails, let him decide where he wants to go. Take the financial, whatever the financial loss is. Someone tweeted something along those lines, and Eric Corrine from The Athletic responded and said, I don't know, it could have been as a joke or whatever, but I just found it, funny that he said maybe he should just get, the Al Horford treatment, where Toronto just sits him for the rest of the year. The context is, guys, by the way, if you don't know what the Al Horford treatment is, OKC just recently announced that Al Horford would be sitting for the rest of the year. He's not receiving a buyout or anything. He's just going to be sitting, and they're going to let, the OKC Thunder teenagers just run wild with Moses Brown. Speaking of Moses Brown, the contract he got was absolutely...
I know. OKC has basically become the process Sixers, and yet nobody seems to mind what they're doing. Yeah. It's a little weird because they kind of it seemed like they tried to snuff out the process with the tank reform and everything. And now OKC is just doing that, and no one is batting an eye. It's and
it's so strange because at the time, if you remember, everyone was like, 76ers can't do this. Like, this is ridiculous. Right. Like, you had media talking heads talking about it.
Yeah.
And now OKC is just like, you know what? We're going to run out a high school team, and no one can say anything about it. We're going to sit Horford because we know he's going to end up winning us at least some games. Again, Horford's not a great player. He's way past his prime, but we're going to sit, one of our most talented guys, one of our vets. And yeah, I guess the Sam Presti effect, I've always felt like that guy is, a little bit of an overrated GM. I don't feel like he's that Masai, what other top GMs are there? Pat Riley level type GM.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Presti's all right. I mean, if he's signing Lou Dort to like a 3-year, $4 million contract or whatever the hell he signed him to, and Moses Brown, who's been tearing it up lately, at least for OKC, to a 3-year, I think $6 million or 4-year, $6 million, something along those lines contract. It's insane. But enough about OKC. The Pistons game was sad. It was very sad, Oren. It's unfair. I said it. I tweeted it. It's very unfair to Pascal and OG to have them battle in the paint every single night.
Yeah, I don't even want to point out the small bad mistakes they did, because it's like I feel bad. They just had COVID and now they're playing on the second night of a back-to-back and they're battling 250-pound guys. Like, how can I even blame them,
Can't. You can't. You really can't. And like an Isaiah, what's his name? Isaiah Thomas? No. What's his name?
Isaiah Stewart.
Isaiah Stewart. It came to a point in this game where like the inside was soft as butter. And Gary Trent Jr., you get beaten on the perimeter, but
oh man, he just fell here. He lost his balance.
Sadiq Bey, I don't know. Maybe Sadiq Bey tore us up last time, so I can't really take anything away from him. But that's just very good basketball move and a very good finish. They could have even called a foul there, maybe. On Chris Boucher. That was a good move. Unfortunate enough.
I got a couple clips here before we move off the game. Go through them. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be starting to do this more rather than focusing on the actual game, especially if we keep losing. I'm more so looking developmental. Okay, what are they doing well? What are they not doing well? How can these guys improve? Looking at the young players especially. So apologies to Kyle Lowry, but it is what it is. So let's get into this one first. Okay, so he didn't. Sorry, boys. We didn't get the whole play I wanted here.
That sucks.
Wait. What? I did. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I didn't play it from the start. So OG sees a mismatch here. I'll go back. OG sees a mismatch here, and he chooses to post up. This is something he did not do very much up until recently. OG posting up, just because with Norm there, his usage was so low.
Yeah.
But the reason this play is significant is because without guys who can put a lot of pressure on the rim, which this Raptors team just does not have and does not project to have in coming years, you have to find other ways to penetrate a defense and to make defenses rotate. So, again, I'm going back. But OG, they immediately double because I can't tell who this is, but he's small. So Plumlee comes with a double. And then it's very simple. Swing, swing, swing. Penetrate because the closeout is too late. And then he didn't hit the three, but the point is it's a wide open corner three.
A very, very good look for OG.
Yeah. Oops. Let's do it again.
That's my fault.
All good. So yeah,
I like
double. It's just Fred just makes a smart move, but even if he made the pass to Siakam, it would have been a slightly worse three.
Yeah.
But the point is OG noticing a mismatch and, being aggressive enough to create offense from it. The Raptors are going to need more, even though you might not agree with the post up. It is a good source of offense for this team because they don't have guys who can, drive and kick like some teams do.
Yeah.
So that was on the bright side. I really like that from OG and the ball movement. We don't see enough ball movement recently from this team. This, in my opinion, was a missed opportunity. And this is something Fred VanVleet needs to work on in the pick and roll here. I think he just misses the pass. There's a window right there for him to get a bounce pass to OG. And it's kind of annoying to this is what we do, that we critique really hard decisions to make in real time. But OG with a head of steam here, even though Plumlee never fully commits off of him, if you deliver the pass to OG rolling with a head of steam, he's probably going to at least get to the foul line. But Fred misses the pass and then goes for a fadeaway. Bad jumper, bad shot selection.
Why isn't that just a floater, Oren? Why does that have to be a fadeaway from 6 feet away?
It's true. Yeah, he kind of went further back than he ever had to go. But Fred is allergic to the floater for whatever reason.
Yeah, he just won't add that to his game.
Yeah, but I want the pass to OG there. Because
you know what that reminded me of, Oren?
What?
That OG roll to the basket. If that's Kyle Lowry and last year's Serge Ibaka, who's
Yeah.
Anunoby on this roll to the basket. Like imagine Ibaka is Anunoby. Like that's a dime and that's an immediate bucket. And that's
Well,
why I think this team misses like a guy like Serge. Like we miss these good rollers to the rim.
yeah, but I think that's more on Kyle than like it didn't matter if it was Ibaka or OG in this situation because you have to reward your bigs for making contact. Like OG makes amazing contact on this screen, which is why there's a window in the first place. So this is on Fred to learn the Kyle Lowry ways. And Fred is way too either he looks for his own shot or he looks out at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
He's not yet comfortable making those tight passes, but that's the next step of his development if he wants to be like a point guard full time.
100%. 100%. You're right. You're 100% right. And I think, like I said, this is a play where maybe Kyle gives it up to OG. And you're right. You make that type of contact on that screen. You have to give it up to OG at that point. And yes, Mason Plumlee's bigger than OG, right? But I still think that would be a very good look for OG. Whether it's OG, last year Serge, doesn't matter who it is. I think if only person I don't trust to really make that bucket on the roll is probably Aaron Baines.
Yeah,
I don't mean to get at him again, but it's unfortunate for Toronto. They're coming like these two guys, Pascal and OG, who we rely on so much offensively, especially OG recently since Gary Trent came here. These two guys that we rely on so much are also tasked with doing the hardest things defensively. Like naturally, you can't do that. And I don't know if it's a Nick Nurse thing. I don't know if it's a front office thing. I don't know if it's a mix of both. But holes should have been filled on this team, and that's if you wanted to win. But who knows? Like you said, it could be one of those, very low key situations where Toronto's like, we're not going to tank, but we're also not going to try our hardest, to win games. But again, I'm always of the opinion that Toronto's going to try and win from the top down. I just feel like, the DNA of this team, the DNA of most of these guys is to be winners. And they've kind of developed that reputation over the last few years. And I just don't feel like, they're going into these games saying, or at least the players aren't at least. I don't think the coaches are either.
No.
Or the front office, yeah.
To clarify, I don't think they are either, but I think the front office has done by not adding a center.
100%.
At any point. They kind of said like, all right, we're going to make your life a little more difficult, but in the meantime, you're going to develop a little bit more. And Daniel Hackett from Raptors HQ made a good point on Twitter. He's a good follow, but he basically said like the front office sending Norm out for a non-center or not getting a center back and trading like one of their best I guess friends and like locker room guys in Norm. It kind of sends a message that makes it very hard to like give 100% effort after that happens, right? Because like 100%. It sends a very clear message that like we're not doing anything to win this season. Yeah. So, and your friend is gone because we're not paying him. So, even though it might have been a good business decision, it was a very shrewd one, and it takes a toll on the players in terms of like wanting to compete. And when the front office doesn't really have your back in a way that like a Miami does, where every year they re-up at the deadline and just kind of go for it.
Yeah, but and like this play came to mind for me, Oren, because it's like I get it, small ball lineups. You're okay with having Pascal in the center, but like this is our all the time lineup where Pascal's thrown on these like massive centers. And yes, Isaiah Stewart, right? That's his name, Isaiah Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Stewart is 6'9", so in terms of height, but he's also 250 pounds. Like the guy is a behemoth. He looked like his
he's like a linebacker.
The size of my head. Yeah, he's literally built like a linebacker. So when I saw this particular play where Pascal just gets absolutely destroyed down low, right? Like, what else is he supposed to do, really? Like, you could say, yeah, he didn't box out right, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just there's just a mismatch down low.
I don't even think that was a foul, man. If anything, that was the opportunity to challenge a call. He just got his hands stuck in there. But it is what it is. It could have easily
been called a jump ball, but they called it his fifth foul. And
I know,
As much as it wasn't, we can say it wasn't a foul. It's tough because like just watching that play even before it even happened, watching Pascal struggle under the net, that this team has holes, and I don't know if
And the last thing about tanking is that, like, we can disagree right now about what I think or what you think about the front office, but we're going to find out, like, this offseason, it's going to become very clear whether the Raptors had a plan all along or whether they're just kind of guessing, because this offseason is monumental for the franchise. They cannot let Kyle Lowry walk for nothing, and that means if he walks, it either needs to be a sign and trade or a situation where you're bringing in a more impactful player for using that money. But if Kyle walks for nothing and you don't bring anything in, that is a failure on the front office. And if they don't have a center in mind, someone who they have a feeling they can get, or if they, I don't know, we're going to find out a lot of things this offseason, because they made a deal for Trent in part to open up cap space. So a lot is riding on it. They put a lot of pressure on themselves in this one off season here.
Yeah, the thing is, realistically, Oren, I would love a Kyle Lowry sign and trade. Who knows? It might even happen, right, during the offseason. But if it doesn't happen and Kyle Lowry is just like, you know what, I'm gone, signing with whoever, I wouldn't even be mad at him, first of all, because that's not Kyle Lowry's problem. I mean, he's coming off. He doesn't deserve this, to put it very plainly. He doesn't deserve a season like this. He's too good to be on a team like this. So for him, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at him, angry with him for him to leave. But yeah, it would be a massive failure for Toronto. It would be absolutely massive if Kyle Lowry were to just walk for anything. And again, can you even get a player? You free up whatever it is, 30 million, 25 million for when Kyle leaves. Can you even get a player like as good, or maybe even nearly as good, like logically from free agency? I don't think so. Like, free agency is one of those things where there's maybe 2 or 3 like major guys, and then who's like, to be honest, you're a free agent. Toronto, right now I think they're 18-29. If they finish, how many games are there on? There's 70? No.
I think there's 28 left, someone was saying.
Oh my God.
I know, it's too many.
Sorry, reality just hit for a sec.
I know.
Whew. Yeah. If what's a free agent's gonna look at this team and go, why the hell would I join this team coming off this season? And it's just, and it relates back to the buyout market, or like, no one's gonna look at this team. Gorgie Jing isn't looking at this team and saying, wow, the Toronto Raptors, I have to go there. I mean, of course, the minutes is something a guy like Gorgie Jing would get for sure, right? But overall, if I'm Gorgie Jing, I'm not looking at Toronto. Like, we look like an absolute dumpster fire this season. So,
yeah, but I think the smart free agents, I mean, if you want to take an optimistic outlook, the smart free agents still know what the Raptors have been in the past 5 years, one of the most winning teams. And they know that once they're back in Toronto, say they get a top 5 pick to add to this young core. This young core is still a very attractive core to play beside. Say what you will, but the big 3, they fit around each other extremely well. They've proven they can play around a superstar in Kawhi. So they're still attractive in terms of a young core, but definitely the losing is going to tarnish them, especially if it goes beyond this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the options here. Kawhi Leonard has a player option. Chris Paul, player option. Then you got like the next tier, right? You can even maybe add Kyle Lowry to that star tier. And then you have the next tier, Michael Conley, DeMar DeRozan. He's an unrestricted free agent. Otto Porter, like, that's just Drew Holiday. He has a player option. Victor Oladipo is an unrestricted free agent. And then it just gets
Rashawn Holmes, Clint Capella.
In terms of bigs, absolutely.
There's restricted free agents who are a little more attractive. Lonzo, John Collins. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look great, but that's why you have to hope that the front office has some sort of plan in place, or they maybe have a guy they're eyeing in the draft and they want a pick low enough to get them. But like, this offseason is going to be huge, and we can only really wait and see before we, I think, judge.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. This clip here, Oren, was one that I didn't know I really wanted to share today, because it feels like the live comment section is already in
so down bad. Oh my God, they're in shambles. So sad. Guys, so, it's okay. We're going to be okay next year.
Pile on, I really might as well at this point, right? Yeah, that's
Did
that
you
guy.
see? You know who really has a right to deserve to be down bad right now?
Yeah,
Is did you see the Yukon Baylor game?
I did not know.
Oh, well, never mind. But the Baylor girl, she got fouled on a
Yeah.
buzzer beater, so clearly fouled, and they were down one and no call. So they really have a right to be upset.
No.
Yeah, it was bad, and you couldn't challenge it. I felt terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. Kyle Lowry's in pain. Oren's in pain. Seems like the live comment section's in pain. But yeah, guys, if you're wondering on what the face of the season is, this is it. This is it, man. Kyle Lowry is exactly how all of us are feeling.
This is
And
my face. Oops. Wait.
um,
Oh yeah. See.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
I don't have a Kyle Lowry wallpaper, so you can one up me there.
it's a nicer
Um,
one.
yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that Kyle Lowry has to endure something like this. Again, it'd be nice as it is. And again, I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't a fan of him coming back. Of course, when I learned Kyle Lowry wasn't traded, I was ecstatic that Kyle Lowry was staying. But at the same time, it's bittersweet because you want this guy to win. You want him to be somewhere as he exits the prime of his career. You want him to be somewhere where he can win and win a lot, whether it be the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat, wherever it is, the Los Angeles Lakers, all the rumored places he was supposed to go. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. This guy, our friend Oliver, says it's time to watch the Leafs.
I say the Blue Jays. Blue Jays start
I
their
was gonna say
season
that.
on Thursday. I'm
Yeah.
actually excited for that. They're gonna be good.
Yeah, Blue Jays look good. I saw. I'm subscribed to The Athletic, so I regularly read, obviously Raptor stuff. But other than that, some New York Jets stuff. Guys, yes, if you're an NFL fan, I'm a New York Jets fan. So you can laugh at me too. I mean, everything's going wrong this year for me sports wise. Tottenham's terrible, but so I might as well just. Sorry, where is it? I might as well just go like that. Yeah, that looks good. I should do that for the rest of the stream. No,
At least RR is thriving.
right? Raptors Republic's looking good. You guys should check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, the Blue Jays, I'm looking forward to them. I am. I saw on The Athletic someone, I forgot her name, the author, but there are some people who are expecting the Blue Jays to go super far this year. So I'm excited for them. This is hilarious how on a Pistons Raptors post-game live show, we're here talking about the Blue Jays. Shout out Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and the whole gang.
Yeah.
But not the Raptors. No, we love our Raptors no matter what. Oren, I think that's enough for us. No?
Yeah, I mean, if people are interested in draft stuff, I'll just say tomorrow at 7 or 9 p.m. I think it's 7 p.m. actually in the Elite Eight. We got USC against Gonzaga. So not only two of the best teams in the tournament, but also two top 5 picks, Evan Mobley for USC, Jalen Suggs for Gonzaga. So should be a really good game. NBA talent going up against NBA talent is always a good way to evaluate them. And if the season keeps going that way, either of those guys would be a perfect fit on this team. So might as well watch.
I remember the days, Oren, as a Raptors fan, where you didn't have to really worry about, the top 10 overall picks. And
I know this
March Madness looks nicer than ever right now.
Yeah,
so,
this year is different for the draft. Like I never used to really keep up with draft guys, and but I guess this year we'll have to.
This year it looks like we've officially reached that stage, guys. I probably say this on every live show at this point that we've reached that stage, but I think we've officially reached that stage now. Oren said it a couple episodes ago that the Raptors' schedule is soft as a cake, it's a sponge cake, however you want to say it. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter because we just lost to the Detroit Pistons. I think that's going to wrap it up, Oren, for us.
Yeah.
This was the wrap up, guys. Before you guys leave us tonight, we need you to like, comment, and subscribe to the Raptors Republic channel. Turn on the post notifications if you haven't already. Every single person in the live stream, we've been reading your comments. Guys, I don't know about Oren, but I'm a multitasker. I'm reading as I'm speaking. So thank you for all of the, live comments. We really appreciate that. There's some people arguing in here. Yeah, it's all bad in Raptors.
Yeah, and if you guys stop arguing and ask questions, we'll definitely take questions too.
Absolutely. You guys know we highlight comments all the time. It's fun. It's enjoyable to get you guys part of the conversation. But we also want to thank our sponsor, Arif Qureshi from Remax. Thank you, Arif, for supporting the show. We appreciate you, as always. We appreciate the live listeners, the live watchers. This was the wrap-up, the Raptors Republic post-game live show where your Toronto Raptors were defeated by the Detroit Pistons 118 104. I'm Sahal Abdi. This was Oren Weisfeld. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Take care.